Welcome, everybody, to the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. I'll be your tour guide today, taking you through the halls of the past, the present, and the future. Follow me or more specifically, I'll talk about how the game of basketball was invented, the present Hall of Famers, and the future Hall of Famers that are currently playing today. Now, follow me this way as we take a look. As you see this picture of a black and white picture of a man with a peach basket and a leather ball. This is actually the father of basketball, Dr. James Naismith. He was a physical educator, and he was looking for a way to calm down his rowdy students during the winter. That's when he remembered a rock tossing game that he played as a child, and he came up with the game of basketball. He came up with 13 rules, and those rules changed over time while they added dribbling in 1901 or the addition of the three-point line. Eventually, this game would mold into this, and they'd eventually start playing. These many leagues started because of basketball, including professional leagues like the NBA. Not only the NBA started, other competitor leagues started like the ABA. Which the ABA was only started as a competition to the NBA because many of the managers wanted to combine with the NBA to get more money, and which they did eventually do, and it just became the NBA. Talking about the NBA and the ABA, let's talk about some of the great players that were in it. Starting with the ABA, I want to start with George Gervin, which is also known as the Iceman. He had a very good finger roll, which was this layup right here, and he had a very good mid-range jump shot. Another player I'd like to talk about is Rick Barry, which is someone you probably mimicked on the basketball court doing this granny-style free throw shot, you may think. But don't let this fool you because he was actually a really good scorer as he averaged 30 points per game in the ABA. The next player I'll talk about happens to be Julius Erving, who was also another player like George Gervin that played above the rim and was very athletic. He wowed fans with his crazy dunks and his miraculous layups, like shown here. Now in the NBA, there's players like Jerry West, Oscar Robinson, and Wilt Chamberlain. Jerry West wasn't as athletic as the people I mentioned before, but he made up with that with like a quick jump shot and a good range. The next person I'll talk about is Oscar Robinson, who was a point guard as well. Is most known for averaging a triple double, which we averaged 30 points, 12 rebounds, and 11 assists. After him is Wilt Chamberlain, who's probably one of the more legendary players out of these people I named. He's standing at 7 foot tall, 7 foot 1 inch tall, and he was believed to have a 48-inch vertical, which many people believe it's fake, but it's the legend. And he's that 48-inch vertical probably helped him to score 100 points in a single game. Although people weren't as athletic as Wilt Chamberlain back then, or they are now, there's a lot more athletes in today's NBA. Which leads us into my second point of the future Hall of Famers. The first person I'd like to talk about is Stephen Curry, who has actually changed the game of basketball with his deep shooting and has inspired many people in today's game like Trae Young and many NBA teams, as NBA teams are shooting more three-pointers than they ever have before. After him, I'd like to talk about Kevin Durant, who is also a three-point shooter and a driver. He's he's like a 6'11" guard. He can handle the ball and shoot it from deep. And if he's got taller people guarding him, he'll just drive right past them and dunk it. The last person I'll talk about happens to be my favorite and who many people believe is the greatest player of all time, LeBron James. And he can prove that statistically and just basketball skill. He's one of the most athletic players ever and has and a very skillful player, is one of the best players all around. Now, as we came to our end, I'd like to thank you all for walking with me in these halls, and I'd like to give you guys a souvenir T-shirt that you can show your friends and family, and you can explain them what you learned today. Whether it's the invention of basketball, the great Hall of Famers of the past, or the future Hall of Famers today. And I hope you guys have a safe ride home and enjoy it.